By the end of this video, you will have your Unity scene set up with Locomotion system, which will allow you to move in your VR environment and explore your space. So let's see how it's done. Hey, what's up? This is Ashley from Immersive Insiders, and in this video, you're going to learn about the Locomotion system and you're going to learn how to move around in your virtual environment. Now, this video and this project is a continuation from the previous one. So if you haven't checked that out, then you should definitely do so over here and then come back to this video. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is to add the locomotion system component. You can either add it to the XR manager or to the XR origin. It really doesn't matter, but you need to know for which of these game object you have added it to. I'm going to add it to the XR origin. So you can click on add component and type in locomotion system and add it. So here we go. Now this has two parameters. One is the timeout and one is the XR origin. So let us first add the XR origin here like this. Now timeout in seconds is basically the amount of time in seconds that the locomotion system will be given access to XR origin. So you don't want to continuously give access because it takes in a lot of resource. So whenever you call for a locomotion system, it just has like 10 seconds to reference to XR origin and do all the things that is needed. Alright, so now that we have the locomotion system, we can actually decide what type of locomotion system we need. There are actually two types. One is continuous move and the other one is teleportation. So you can have various combination, like you can have continuous move, continuous turn, or you can have continuous move and snap turn, or you can have teleportation with continuous turn or teleportation with snap turn. Now out of all these four options, the best one would be a teleportation with snap turn, because continuous motion and continuous rotation can make a user sick. It can give him motion sickness. So the safest option would be teleportation and snap turn, but it's always better to give the user the choice to change. So let's start by looking at continuous motion, and then we'll move on to teleportation. Now before we add the continuous motion system, we'll have to decide as to which controller we want to add it. Do we want to add it to the left controller or the right controller? So you can control it using these joysticks that's there here. So either the left joystick or the right joystick. The general convention is that we use the left controller to move. So you can use the up, down and left, right to move front, back and side to side, and the right controller for turning. So left and right turn. So we'll just follow the same convention. So we will open the XR origin, we'll open the camera offset, and in here we'll select the left controller. We'll scroll all the way down and we'll click on add component, and we'll add continuous move provider, which is going to be action based. So it's going to be a continuous move provider component which is action based. Now this needs a locomotion system which I've added to the XR origin. So all we need to do is drag and drop this in here, and that component gets added automatically. And then we have various fields here. The first one is move speed. So this determines how fast you move when you push your joystick. And then we have enable safe, and then we have to use gravity. And then here gravity application is attempting to move or immediately. So that's something that we could choose. And we have a forward source. So for example, generally when you move it, when you're if you want to move in the direction of your head, then you can give your forward source as your main camera. Then irrespective of where your controller is pointing, you can still point and just move your head and it will follow that direction. So that is forward source. And then here we have two things. So we have the left hand reference and right hand reference. Now just like we discussed a minute back, we don't want to move with both left and right. We want it to be left or right. So for that reason, we are going to uncheck the right hand reference and only the left hand. So only when you use the left hand joystick, only then you'll be able to move. Alright, so now we'll select the right hand controller, and here we will add the continuous turn provider action based. Now this is also similar to continuous move. We need to provide a locomotion system. Now this gives a turn speed, so it shows you how fast you will be turning. And we don't want to reference the left hand, but just the right hand. So we will uncheck that, and let us save the scene and test it out. So before we can test it out, you got to make sure that your device is connected to your machine using the link cable or air link. Now if you're not sure how that's done, then you should definitely check out this video. And once you have connected, all you need to do is press play and test it out. Now before we test it, let me quickly change the view so that you guys can see it better. There we go. And now if I hit play, so here I have my left controller and my right controller. So with my left controller, I can move forward, I can move backward, and I can move sideways as well, so left side and right side. And using my right controller, I am able to rotate towards my left and towards my right continuously. So there's one more thing that you need to know. So for example, if you want to just move forward and back and not sideways, so what you can do is you can go to XR origin, you can select the left hand controller, scroll all the way down till you find the continuous move provider component, and here you can just uncheck the enable strafe. So if you uncheck that, and now if you check it out, I will not be able to move towards my left or my right. So I'm actually trying to move left and right, but it's not working, and that's because we have disabled it. And now we'll exit the play mode. So now you know how to set up the continuous move provider. Next we'll see how to set up the teleportation. Now, before we set up the teleportation provider, there's one thing that you need to know, and that is the teleportation works when you have a XR ray interactor. So right now we have XR ray interactor attached to both our left hand and right hand. So if we add the teleportation provider, you'll be able to teleport using both your left hand controller and right hand controller. All we have to do is point at the teleportation play and use the grip button. But we don't want to be like that. We want it to work only with the right hand. So we'll select the left hand controller and we will disable the XR ray interactor. We'll disable the line renderer component and we'll disable the XR line visual as well. So only the right hand has the XR ray interactor, which means we can go here and add the teleportation provider component. Now this needs a locomotion system which is there in the XR origin. So you can drag and drop it here. Now we need to add a teleportation area. Now we already have a plane. For this you can go ahead and add the teleportation area component, or there's another way you can do it. You can right click in your hierarchy, go to XR and select teleportation area. Now this will also create a plane and it is going to have the teleportation area component. Now the teleportation component has various parameters. Let's see them one by one. So the first one is the interaction manager, which is this component here. Like I said, it's going to interaction manager kind of acts like a bridge between the interactor and the interactable. And then we have the layer mask as default. So based on whichever layers you have enabled, the ray will interact only with those layers, and then you will be able to teleport. Then we have colliders. So for example, if you have a big plane that's made of 3-4 parts and you want to be able to teleport only on one of the part, then you can drag and drop that particular collider here and you'll be able to teleport only in that region. Then we have the custom rectile. So what this does is when you're trying to teleport, it just highlights the edges, and that's when you know, okay, I have a teleportation area. So it's more like a visual clue. And then we have selection mode, that is single and multiple. So single basically means only one interactor will be able to interact with the teleportation area at a given time. If we select multiple, then multiple interactors can interact with it. Then we have the match orientation. So here we have 4 different types. So first is the world space up. So if I just move my scene here like this, and let us check the global. So if you see the global world space up, so y direction, so no matter from where you're teleporting, it could be from an inclined plane to a straight plane or from a straight plane to inclined plane, irrespective of the angle of teleportation area. So it could be inclined like this or something like that, still you will end up in a world space up position. So you will always end up in a straight position. And then the next option we have is target up. So we'll take the same example wherein we have our teleportation area, and if I check my local transform, here you can see the up is at certain angle. So with this particular setting, if I try to teleport onto this plane, I will end up slightly inclined. So it's going to match the target up position. And then we have the target up and forward position, which means that, say suppose I'm looking in some other direction and I teleport onto this particular plane, then it's going to make sure that I'm pointing exactly in the forward position and in the up direction. So it's going to reposition my rotation as well. And finally we have the none. So it means that there's no change. So irrespective of which teleportation, from whichever angle you're coming, it doesn't matter. However you are in the same position and same rotation, you will be teleported onto your teleportation area. So these are the different orientation that we have. And then we have the teleportation trigger. So it can be like on exited, on entered, on activated, on deactivated. So what it means is that, so on select exit is like once you grab the grip button and you leave it, so only then you'll be able to teleport. On select entered is like you have to just press it. So once you press it and then you'll be able to teleport. And on activated is like you have to press this one and on deactivated is when you leave it. So these are the different options that we have. And last one is a teleportation provider. So we have added it to our right hand controller. So let us drag and drop it in here. And then we have the interactable events. So you can make use of all these Unity events when you hover over, or when you exit, or when you enter, to do different kind of things. All right, so let me reset its position back to 0, and let me disable this plane that we had created earlier and save the scene, and let's test this out. So to test it out, we'll just hit the play button. Here we go. So here you can't see the ray interactor anymore on my left controller, and that's because we have disabled it, but the continuous move will still work. So if I press my joystick front or back, I'm able to move. And with my right controller, when I point on the teleportation area, it turns white, which means that I'm able to interact with it. And when I press the grip button and release it, I jump to that area. So again, with my joystick, I have continuous rotation, so I'm able to rotate as well, and I can teleport to whichever place I'd like to. Alright, so the last thing that you need to know is the snap turn. So instead of using continuous turn, we'll use snap turn. So we'll select the right hand where we had added the continuous turn provider. So we'll disable that, and we'll add the component called as snap turn provider action based. So this needs a locomotion system which is there on the XR origin, and turn amount basically tells in how much degrees you'll be turning. So you'll be turning by 45 degrees once you press the joysticks left or right. So based on whichever direction, that direction you'll be rotating. And then let's see, so here we have reference for both the hands, again left hand and right hand. We don't want that, we just have it on the right hand, so let us disable that. Perfect. So now we can save the scene and quickly test it out as well. Alright, so here I have my right controller, and when I turn towards my right, now you can see it is snapping by 45 degrees based on the direction in which I push my joystick. So with that, you have learned about the XR Interaction Toolkit's locomotion system, and now you know how to move in your environment either using continuous move provider or by teleportation. Now in this project, you saw that the teleportation ray is always on. Now there is a way in which you can switch on the teleportation ray only when your joysticks move after a certain distance. Now, if you are interested to know how that's done, then you should definitely check out our Immersive Insiders page. I will leave a link for that in the description. By the way, we have a free ebook linked in the description which talks about the biggest mistakes you could make as an aspiring XR developer. Now, this will give you a huge advantage over others, so you should definitely check it out. If you feel that this tutorial has helped you and you learned something new, then I'd highly appreciate it if you can leave a like and subscribe. And in the next video, we'll be learning how to use the ray interactor and direct interactors to interact with different game objects like cube and sphere. So as always, I will see you in the next one.